Hey, all you cool cats and kittens of RxD. We got your NC HIIT workout for Friday the 17th. We got two things going on. We have a longer duration AMRAP, so it's going to be 16 minutes. We have three different types of movements, pretty minimal equipment today. We've got a Russian swing, some alternating lunges, as well as some sit-ups. So stuff that we're pretty used to seeing. It just happens to be a lot of them within a good amount of time. So as always, when I give you a lot of repetitions, a lot of sets, a lot of time, we want to see how well we can remain consistent. So please don't go too hard out the gate. I don't want you dying when you're only 2 minutes in. We want to be able to kind of keep a conversational pace throughout this workout, still just break a sweat and enjoy moving around. If you don't want to go that slow, then pick something else to do. We have that 16-minute AMRAP, and then we have a finisher, which is going to work our lower body. So we'll be doing some direct glute work with some glute bridges as well as some clam shells. So the way this is going to look, going back to that 16-minute AMRAP, it is 40, 30, 20, and 10 reps of each movement. And once you complete your sets of 10, you're meant to go back and start it all over again. So a lot of work. We want to see how well we can just keep doing the work. With our Russian swings is the only real technical thing we have today. I want to see how well you guys can stick your hips back. Again, I'll always give myself this cue, lead from the hips. My shins are going to be pretty vertical. I have my little bit wider stance. Let's say I have a kettlebell, 2 dumbbells, 1 dumbbell. Let's go with 1 dumbbell today and learn how to hold just from one side of the bell. I'm going to swing this guy instead of a kettlebell. So I'm going to allow this guy to go behind me, and I want to squeeze my hips forward, lock my knees out pretty hard, and allow this bell to fly to about eye level. Notice how I'm keeping my shoulders nice and low. There's no need to shrug or do any extra arm movement for the Russian swing. We should be able to do all of our reps as intended, so unbroken when it comes to this kind of swing. Again, if you aren't comfortable holding on to the dumbbell like that for grip reasons, then you can always hold by the handle. The next thing is our lunges. So we can go forward or backward, it's up to you. I'd like to see you guys go forward. It just challenges the hip and the knee a little bit more. So what I want to see is your ability to reach that front leg out and then get to a 90-degree position here and 90-degree position in the back leg as well. And I'm going to push from the heel and stand my way back up. Pretty simple. Again, you guys are used to seeing these movements. We just want to make sure that we get those points down. The last thing is a sit-up. I think we've seen this like 3 or 4 days in a row now, so you guys are getting pretty good at them, but you might be tired of them. So if you want to change it up into something like a tuck-up or a V-up, I'm totally cool with that. I've been making you guys put your feet out in front of you for the sit-up, and I think we can switch to our butterfly position. That makes any of you guys happier because it feels better on the hip. Only thing with that, you want to make sure with it being a sit-up that we are traveling like a hinge rather than just curling our back up. So as I move from flat, I want to make sure that I can keep my spine pretty straight until I get to sitting vertically. In between our sets, so in between your 40 and your 30, your 30 and your 20, you get it. We are going to do 20 mountain climbers, the same way that I've been having you guys do. From that push-up plank position, I want you to think about bringing your knee to the insides of your arms. I want you to move fast through these because you happen to have a lot more reps. Usually it counts as like left leg is 1, right leg is 2. It's going to be both legs have to do the movement in order to complete 1 rep. So it should be from our push-up plank. I'm going to lift the knee, hold, and switch on each one. So that's our 16-minute AMRAP. We're just trying to run through that as many times as we can. The finisher is going to be 3 sets of our glute bridges and clamshells. The clamshell is going to be difficult because it typically means that we're going to require some sort of resistance like a band. If we don't happen to have a band, we'll go over that variation right now. What I'd like to see you guys do is probably just hold the movement or the end range of the movement itself, and we can mimic having some resistance. So the glute bridge is going to be lying on your back. I'm going to pin my low back into the ground as hard as I can. So again, I use that cue to kind of push my hip flexors into my fingers, and then I'm just going to squeeze my butt towards the ceiling. Make sure I can hold, my feet are flat on the ground, and my shoulders are pinned against the ground. I want to hold for 1 to 2 seconds, make sure I'm not just humping the air and pulling my butt back down. I also want to make sure on the way back down that I'm not leading in that arched position. I should still be trying to tuck my pelvis underneath me, and then I'm going to lower. So if it takes you a little bit longer of a time to do this, just because you're trying to take those little mental notes, perfect. It's a finisher. You guys don't have to do this for time. You're really just trying to connect with your own body. The clamshell is going to be like this. We're going to be side lying. So I can plant my elbow on the ground, and I have this little tucked leg position. I would use a band wrapped around my legs. I would open my leg to the outside, so it would be providing resistance. What we can do here is a clamshell from a side plank. So my hips are off the ground, and my job is to squeeze my knee out and squeeze my hips forward as hard as I can. If you don't happen to have a banded resistance, but you happen to have somebody around, you can ask them to push on your leg for you, and that will provide the same kind of stimulus. So a lot going on today, but relatively simple in terms of the movement selection. I like this a lot for you guys. I hope you enjoy it, and as always, if you have any questions, reach out to any of us coaches.